All right, awesome. So Team USA joins Canada as the second team to qualify for the quarterfinals, beating South Sudan 103-86. And started off like Team USA was going to kind of pull away. 6-0 start for Team USA, looking pretty good, higher intensity level than previously. And then South Sudan went on a 7-0 run, and it was 7-6 South Sudan. And somewhere in that time period, Team USA, actually just after that time period, Team USA took out their starters and they brought in their bench, and they basically did a line change, without they left Curry in initially, and then they took him out and brought in Derrick White. And, it was 7-6, and they ended up finishing the quarter up 26-14 on a 20-7 run. And that was led by really good defense, a lot of it keyed by Derrick White in that particular quarter. He had a big block on Carlik Jones with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the quarter. And then he also had a steal. And then just for those Duke fans out there, Kama Maluak didn't look great. He played spot minutes in that first quarter. He picked up a turnover and a foul. They sat him down, and he didn't really see action the rest of the game. So at this point, it's 26-14. Team USA is looking pretty good. They had a good finish, close to the first quarter. And I guess most importantly, I should have led with this, was Steve Kerr made some adjustments to start this game. He started Curry and Booker and LeBron, the same as he has been, but he swapped out Embiid and Drew Holiday for Jason Tatum and Anthony Davis. Now, Anthony Davis certainly made sense based off how he's been playing, and Embiid struggles in these exhibition games, even the first game against Serbia. But it was a surprise to see Tatum in for Drew Holiday, who I thought has played well. I understand trying to get some more size in that lineup, though. So that made sense to me. I thought Steve Kerr did a really good job throughout this game, just mixing and matching, finding lineups that made sense for Team USA. And while during the exhibition games, I didn't necessarily love some of his decisions, I have to give him credit that he was experimenting and trying to figure out what works. So sometimes you got to see things through and see how it works out. So fast forward now to the second quarter, really wasn't a lot to talk about in terms of anything specific, just because at this point, Team USA started to roll. And Bam hit a couple of corner threes. He looked great. Team USA was led by Bam in this game. We'll get to the stats later on. Derrick White continued to play well. Kevin Durant, as he did in the first quarter, continued to play well. He had some big free throws in the first quarter and the second quarter, but really they did a much better job of guarding Carlik Jones in the first half and limiting him and Mariel Shayok and just making their life more difficult. And, Royal Avi was very frustrated. I actually really like him as a coach. He picked up a technical. Luol Deng was losing his mind a little bit on the bench. They felt like they weren't getting calls, and honestly, rightfully so. There were a few calls that they should have got. I mean, I said I was going to get to the stats, so here we go. Bam had 14 points at the half, leading Team USA. Kevin Durant had 9. And the thing that was most noteworthy in this game, and a couple of things happened later on, AD rolls his ankle. It didn't look great. Something to watch for moving forward. He is as important a piece as anyone on Team USA. And then on the flip side, South Sudan had some good minutes from Omat, who had 13 points in the first half. Kowal had 7 points and 3 assists. And Carlik Jones had 4 assists. So it wasn't all bad for him. The third quarter starts. The starters are back in for Team USA, and they just came out flat. Let's just call it how it is. Like, they knew they were up by 19 points, and they just didn't have the same intensity that they did in the first half. And that caught up with them because South Sudan immediately went on a 13-5 run. And similar to the first quarter, Steve Kerr pulled the starters, brought in a bench unit, and it took a little bit longer than the first quarter, a couple of minutes of kind of back and forth. No one was really, it stopped the flow for South Sudan, but it didn't immediately go to Team USA. It was kind of even for a few minutes. And then Derrick White again, he had a key steal in that play, in that moment of time rather. And I just felt like throughout this game, I know there was a lot of talk about whether Derrick White should have been a part of Team USA, and I felt like he deserved to be a part of it just because of how he plays the game and how well he fit in between the star players. And today he looked like one of the star players because of how well he performed in his role. He was just outstanding today. And the defensive intensity and defensive lineup when they had Derrick White, Drew Holiday, Anthony Edwards, KD, and Bam was just outstanding. It was my favorite lineup to watch today, and all the mix and matches that they had. They were just really good, and they were able to kind of stem the tide and finish the third quarter with Team USA up 73-57. And at one point, it did get as close as 62-52, with South Sudan really making a push there. And there was like a moment where I was thinking this could turn into a pretty close game down the stretch. And with how important the point differential is, not only for Team USA, but especially for South Sudan, who are trying to qualify most likely as the third place team because they will play Serbia in their next game. So getting those points and trying to make the margin as tight as possible was really important for them. And I thought they did a great job in the second half of just competing, bringing a level of intensity, especially in the first handful of minutes of the third quarter, that Team USA did not match. And I did like in the fourth quarter, not too much to talk about. Team USA kind of kept South Sudan at arm's length. It never really got close to where it felt like a real competitive game. I did note it was interesting that in the fourth quarter, they swapped Tatum for KD, and they had that starting unit out there. And I think that unit, we'll see some mix and match, but as we get farther in the tournament, the level of competition is going to rise, and we're not going to be playing 11 guys. We may shift down to 9. And so it's important to see who are the best 9. And right now, listen, I'm a Duke fan. Jason Tatum is not one of the best 10 or 9 players for Team USA. That doesn't mean he's not a great player. It just means right now, with what they have, he's just not found his role within the team. And then one other kind of fun fact, I guess, when I was going through my research on Royal Ivy, because I was just going back through his stats and just seeing where he played, I found out he played on the Hawks with Ty Lue, which I thought was a cool thing, just that Ty Lue is an assistant coach with Team USA. So let's recap Team USA individually. So we'll kind of go player by player here. Sorry, guys, I can't see the chat. So if there's anything you want to let me know about, I don't know what's going on with the live right now, but just leave a comment afterwards. I would really appreciate it if you comment on this video afterwards. It would mean a lot to me. So Team USA, as I mentioned before, the starters really didn't play great today. Led by LeBron, who had 12 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. He had 10 points at halftime, which kind of goes to show he didn't have a great second half, though he did pick up 3 or 4 assists in the second half. I thought next to the starters who played well, again, Devin Booker, guys. Listen, I said this last time. I don't watch a ton of Suns regular season games, so I will admit I'm a casual in that aspect. Devin Booker has just really impressed me in these exhibition games and then these 2 games at the Olympics where he does so much more besides scoring that it's just not – I just don't think he gets enough credit for it. He had 6 assists. He played good defense. He had a steal. I just thought he moved the ball well. He moved well without the ball and just looked really good and deserves to continue to get a high quantity amount of minutes for Team USA. Jason Tatum in his start, don't know how many minutes he played. That would be interesting to see. I guess somewhere around 15. He had 4 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. Anthony Davis had 8 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. Again, just want to bring up he had that ankle turn, and so I wonder if on Saturday when we play against Puerto Rico, and yes, I feel like I'm a part of Team USA. I wonder if they're going to rest him because I know he ended up playing the rest of the game, but I don't. There's no way to take any chances with a guy like Anthony Davis. They're going to play Embiid in that one. Maybe that's where you let Anthony Davis kind of take a rest, and you kind of use these games almost um, like a soccer team would in Europe, where you kind of rest your guys in some games, and then you bring them in for you want your better players for the more important games. So I think maybe that's kind of what's going on here. Last starter I wanted to touch on, Steph Curry. He did not play well today. He had 3 points, 4 assists, and a rebound, 4 fouls. He was 1 of 9 from the field, 0 for 6 from three. I guess it's a good time to get your bad shooting game out of the way. And with that being said, the one thing I've noticed with Steph in these games is defensively, it is a bit of an issue having him out there. And so if he's not hitting his threes, he's going to have a bad game. So it's just something where we're going to have to follow how that kind of tracks out as we move forward. But he's going to shoot better. I'm not worried about that. It's just how do we kind of cover for him on the defensive end, and that's going to be matchup dependent as well. And really, thinking about future games potentially like against Canada, that could be the gold medal game. Certainly right now, I don't know exactly how the brackets shape up, but that looks like the second best team. And so you look at a team like Canada, they're starting Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, RJ Barrett, Lou Dort, Dylan Brooks, and Dwight Powell. So there's not necessarily a place for Steph to hide. Yeah, Lou Dort might be the option, I would say, of those four perimeter players, because he's not really he's not going to take advantage in the post or anything. But I am sure Canada will run a pick and roll and involve Curry in the action and try to get Shea matched up on Curry. So that's just something I'm going to be very curious about as we move forward. How does Team USA kind of protect him on the defensive end of the court? Moving to the bench. So Kevin Durant finished with 14 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals. He played really well today. He had a couple of shots that kind of went in and out. Most of his points were from the free throw line, where he was 8 of 9 and continued to just be red hot from three. He was 2 for 2, 2 3-pointers today. Team USA's best player was Bam Adebayo today. He had 18 points, 7 rebounds, an assist, and a steal, and 2 blocks. He was 8 of 10 from the field and 2 of 3 from the three-point line. It's really great performance from Bam. And then I think their second best player today, their 3 best players were all off the bench, quite clearly, as far as I'm concerned, was Derrick White, who had 10 points on 3 of 3 shooting from 3, and he hit a free throw 1 of 2 from the line. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist, 3 steals and a block, and just countless deflections and other good plays. Anthony Edwards had 10 points, 2 assists, and 3 steals in this one. Halliburton got in late in the second quarter when it seemed like Team USA was starting to pull away, and he hit a couple of nice threes. Good for him to get his first Olympic points, as well as Jason Tatum. Not for Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's only in this Olympics, I should say. And Jrue Holiday had 5 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. Thought he played well, but not quite as well as he did in the past game. I am curious how they're going to, if they're going to put him back in the starting lineup against Puerto Rico. We'll have to see. So speaking of Puerto Rico, that game is going to be Saturday at 11:15. So after that game, I will be back to do another live stream to review and recap the results there. And then we're into the quarterfinal action. So it should be a good run. It's been a lot of fun watching not only Team USA, but all the teams in this Olympics. It's been really good, fun, competitive games. And I think that's just going to continue as the matchups improve and as the games get more competitive. So I wish I could see your guys' chat if there are any. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun covering these games, and I look forward to continuing to do so. Friday, I'm not sure if I'm going to get to any of the other games, but I really appreciate you guys for hanging out and watching these games and watching these live streams that I'm producing here. It really helps me to grow the channel. If you could like this video, it means a lot. It helps me grow and it helps with the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm always posting a new video every day on NBA draft or the Olympics or whatever it might be. And then as we get closer to the season, I'm going to be following Duke basketball and the Knicks more closely. And tell a friend. Trying to grow every day. So thanks, guys. See you next time. See you Saturday at the very least. Peace.